Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, What Prahlad Learned in the Womb, text number 17. I believe that is the right verse. Uh, so I'll just, because of time, I'll just read the Sanskrit once and then I'll just read straight through instead of repeating, etc. Bhavatam api bhuyan me yadi shraddha tate vacha vaishara didihi shraddhata Sri Balanam Chameyata. Word for word. Bhavatam, of yourselves. Api, also. Bhuyat, it may be. Me, of me. Yadi, if. Shraddhate, you believe in. Vacha, the words. Vaishar, Vaisharadi, of the most expert or in relation with the Supreme Lord. Dihi, intelligence. Shraddhata, because of firm faith. Stri, of women. Balanam, of small boys. Cha, also. Me, of me. Yata, just as. Prahlad, translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear friends, if you can place your faith in my words, simply by that faith, you can also understand transcendental knowledge. Just like me, although you are small children. Similarly, a woman can also understand transcendental knowledge and know what is spirit and what is matter. These words of Prahlad Maharaj are very important in regards to knowledge descending by the disciplic succession. Even when Prahlad Maharaj was a baby within the womb of his mother, he became fully convinced of the existence of the supreme power because of hearing the powerful instructions of Narada and understood how to attain perfection in life by bhakti yoga. These are the most important understandings in spiritual knowledge. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyatye katita hiarta prakashante mahatmana. Onto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grihayam Injriyai Sevan Mukhehi Shivadao Swayam Eva Spuratyada. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhaktyamam abhijayanti yavan yas shasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. These are Vedic instructions. One must have full faith in the words of the spiritual master and similar faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the real knowledge of Atma and Paramatma and the distinction between matter and spirit will be automatically revealed. This Atma Tattva, or spiritual knowledge, will be revealed within the core of a devotee's heart because of his having taken shelter at the lotus feet of a Mahajan, such as Prahlad Maharaj. In this verse, Bhuyat may be understood to mean let there be. Prahlad Maharaj offers his blessings to his class friends, saying, also become faithful like me, become bona fide Vaishnavas. A devotee of the Lord desires for everyone to take to Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, however, people sometimes do not have staunch faith in the words of the spiritual master, who comes by the disciplic succession, and therefore they are unable to understand transcendental knowledge. The spiritual master must be in the line of authorized disciplic succession, like Prahlad Maharaj, who received the knowledge from Narada. If the class friends of Prahlad Maharaj, the sons of demons, were to accept the truth through Prahlad Maharaj, they would certainly also become fully aware of transcendental knowledge. The words Vaishardi Dihi refers to intelligence concerning the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is extremely expert. The Lord has created wonderful universes by his expert knowledge. Unless one is extremely expert, he cannot understand the expert management of the Supreme Expert. One can understand, however, if one is fortunate enough to meet a bona fide spiritual master, coming in the disciplic succession from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Mother Lakshmi, or the Kumaras. These four sampradayas, or disciplic successions of knowledge and transcendence, are called the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. Sampradaya Vinha Ye Mantras Te Nishkala Mata. The knowledge of the Supreme received from such a sampradaya or disciplic succession can give one enlightenment. If one does not take to the path of disciplic succession, it is not possible for one to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one understands the Supreme Lord through devotional service, with faith in the disciplic succession, then advances further, he awakens his natural love for God, and then his success in life is assured. Om Agina Charamandasya Ginanjana Shlakaya Chakshumay Samyana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Prahlad Maharaj, who from my memory of this chapter, has been instructing his schoolmates in transcendental knowledge, repeating what he has learned in the womb. He's now imploring his schoolmates, the fellow sons of demons, within, or he's now imploring them to heed his words and place faith into what he is saying, to have Shraddha. As the verse says, Shraddha you believe in. And we understand that this Shraddha, this faith, is the beginning of the process of devotional service. Of course, in many religious traditions of the world, many traditions that teach some sort of spiritual knowledge, or at least some level of bhakti yoga, there is a great emphasis on faith. You believe in a certain creed, in a certain set of historical or theological propositions, and then you can go to the good afterlife. But if you do not have that faith, then you go to the bad afterlife. And we understand, of course, that the faith is required, at least at the beginning. But we also move beyond that faith by understanding of transcendental knowledge. But we do recognize that in any field of knowledge, one requires faith in order to start. No matter what one is learning, one has to have faith, at least initially, in the words of one's teacher. For example, when I used to teach physics labs, they heard, at least ideally, if the schedules were lined up correctly, the students heard first from their class professor to learn, Ohm's law or Coulomb's law or something like that, and they had to accept on faith. But then, assuming they did the experiment correctly, they would verify it by the lab work. And the transcendental sort of Shabda Praman that we are trying to understand works the same way. We have to hear from a source of transcendental knowledge and put a small amount of faith, a small amount of shraddha into that source and take from him instructions on how to execute the path of devotional service. And then, if we execute that path, then we will get the results of Bhakti Yoga, culminating in Krishna Prema. And this is required in order to advance in devotional service. We cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead through our own limited intelligence and senses. It requires approaching a bona fide spiritual master in order to gain knowledge from him. This is actually the entirety of our process, is to approach a bona fide spiritual master and gain knowledge and do what he says, to follow his instructions. There is nothing more and nothing less in the prosecution of our devotional service. Because the spiritual master knows the way. He has actually gone through the process of devotional service and being purified by that method, and can teach, and has been empowered to teach the disciple in that way. We should not think that it is any less potent because we do not have the chance to directly, so to speak, approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one might have done during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna. At an event that my Guru Maharaj spoke briefly at about a week ago in Mayapur. He read a letter from Srila Prabhupada speaking about how the spiritual master is directly empowered by Lord Nityananda to spread the message of pure devotional service in disciplic succession. So it is non-different, actually, hearing from Krishna or any of the acharyas and hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. Sometimes devotees might think, oh, what would it be like to hear directly from Srila Prabhupada or hear directly from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Lord Chaitanya or any of these great acharyas. But by the potency, by the mysticism of the disciplic succession, when one reads Srila Prabhupada's books, when one hears from a bona fide spiritual master, it is exactly the same as hearing from all of these personalities. It is the potency is non-different as long as the link in the parampara, in the chain, is unbroken, as long as the transmission is going on unadulterated. And this is what is required for transcendental knowledge. There is no material prerequisite for this. Look at Prahlad Maharaj. He was 5 years old. What 5-year-old has the opportunity to become very expert in material knowledge? Uh, both in the traditional Vedic system and in our current system, a 5-year-old is practically just starting their education. They do not have any sort of material expertise. Uh, but Prahlad, as is mentioned in this purport, is one of the Mahajans, one of the authorities in devotional service, because he heard from his spiritual master, Narada Muni, and is repeating precisely the same thing. And so we should hear from such Mahajans in discipline succession in order to become expert in the science of devotional service. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that unless one is extremely expert, he cannot understand the expert management of the supreme expert. But this expertise does not refer to knowledge of cosmology or Sanskrit uh, or of philosophy, mundane philosophy, of history or sociology or anything like that. What one must become expert in is the teachings of the previous acharyas. Our epistemology, our way of understanding, is founded upon the tripartite system of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, with Shastra in the center as the main pillar that our understanding of everything rests on. And we are required, we are being induced to become expert in that. There are so many experts that say so many different things according to their own field. If you look at Indology, for example, they say so many things about, uh, the historicity of this and that, the understanding of this and that. If you look at sociology, they say, oh, this is beneficial for society, that is beneficial for society. Everybody has their opinion based on their expertise in their own field of knowledge. But we take expertise, or we take our knowledge from the experts in the transcendental science of Krishna consciousness. Uh, and if one meets such a bona fide spiritual master, such an expert, he can himself become expert and then eventually teach others. Uh, and in doing so, can become uh, able to return back home, back to Godhead, and mm, understand the science of devotional service and teach others that science as well. In this way, uh, either through giving shiksha or perhaps for some also giving diksha, continue the unbroken chain, continue the sampradaya, continue the parampara, and teach others to become experts in this science of Krishna consciousness as well, uh, in order to continue uh, the mm, teachings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to save the conditioned souls. So I'll stop here. I think I rambled on enough. Uh, I did not read this purport before coming because I did not realize I was going to give class. But hopefully some of our uh, august audience has some things that they could add. We have about 20 minutes, so somebody please say something.
Hare Krishna.
Bible,
As I said, welcome back. And this may be
thank you.
off the topic, but I was just wondering if you'd have any realizations or reflections to share from your recent trip to India,
Ah,
since it was your first time.
yeah, it was a very nice trip. Uh, Mayapur, uh, it's definitely a different sort of place. You can actually, when you enter Mayapur, driving from Calcutta, we took a taxi. And as you enter Navadvip, as you enter Mayapur, you can feel like the modes of nature are just, not there, at least as much. Uh, and yeah, like one can, you know, feel the difference between Mayapur and other places. Uh, I actually the second or third day I was there, I was walking to the temple to see Panchatattva Radhamadava Lord of Sringadev. Uh, and the thought did cross my mind, do I really have to go back to the United States? I could just stay here. But I obviously did come back. My service is here. Uh, but yeah, Mayapur, it is uh, like nowhere else I've been in the world. Um, the it's uh, yeah, both the Mayapur itself, the surrounding villages. You can actually see, at least to some extent, uh, a place where everybody is, or maybe not everybody, but many people have at least some level of Krishna consciousness. Uh, you know, being in the United States, we are definitely the minority as far as the population goes. But even people who aren't necessarily going to the temple or doing anything have some level of Krishna consciousness. Even the rickshaw drivers, uh, shout out Hari Krishna or Gauranga or things like that.
Jai.
Uh, I remember one time we were coming back. No, we were going to, I think it was Chaitanya Mat, uh, which was where the samadhis of uh, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Gaurkishore Das Babaji are. And we were getting a rickshaw there, and we passed Srivasangan, which is the house of Srivas Thakur. And then the rickshaw driver just turned around and started talking to Damodar Kataprabhu, uh, about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes at Srivasangan.
Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
yeah, and kind of half Bengali, half English, because I think a lot of people uh, mistakenly identify Damodar Kata as Bengali. Uh, so, uh, but yeah, and especially in the villages, one can especially see kind of what Prabhupada was talking about when he was talking about Krishna conscious culture and a Krishna conscious way of life.
Hmm.
Uh, we took probably one of the best experiences I recommend everybody doing. is that we took a bulk cart ride. As a new program that they were starting uh, from the Mayapur campus to the Rajpur Jagannath Temple and back, going through the villages. And on the way back, um, we were doing kirtan as we were, going through the villages on the bulk cart. And, people were running out of their homes. Like children were at like groups of school children were actually like, running out on their way to school, stopping to chant Hare Krishna as we were going by. Uh, so, yeah, and there's a lot that I could talk about. Um, and I don't know how long I should go on for, but yeah, I recommend to everybody, if you haven't had a chance yet, go to India in general, so in one of the Dhams, go to Mayapur. Uh, yeah, there's a lot to do. Just going to see the holy places and understanding that like what you read about in the Chaitanya Charitamrita or the Chaitanya Bhagavat, happened basically right there, right? Like you're looking at Yoga Pete, for example, and you can understand that oh, like in this ghat, right here is where Lord Chaitanya would come and, Jagannath Mishra, Mother Sachi would come and take their bath. Uh,
Mhm.
it actually just happened, like 15 feet away from you or something. Uh,
Right.
or, if you're going and, taking the water or, getting into Yoga Pete, the ghat at Yoga Pete or something, you might have been standing exactly where Lord Chaitanya stood, one
Mhm.
day 500 years ago. Uh, so, uh, yeah, is a very nice trip uh, to be able to go see all the holy places, uh, take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, uh, and uh, yeah, it's a very nice place to put it, to understate it.
Jai. Jai.
So
What
yeah,
would you
that's
say
just what.
was your what would you say was your highlight?
Ah, I was thinking about that actually, and it's hard to choose because there's so many. Uh, there's just so many nice experiences and nice places. We have a uh, dear godbrother, Balgopal Prabhu, who's been living in Mayapur for like the past 5 or 6 years. So he took Damodar Kata and I and some others around to the different holy places. He would explain. I'm pretty sure he's read all the biographies of Lord Chaitanya.
Hmm.
So he would explain, all of the different pastimes that happened, and we would read and discuss the things. It was very nice. But if I had to choose, I think either the bulk cart ride that I was describing, or going to bathe in the Ganga uh,
Haribol.
was very nice. Uh, yeah, I went twice to bathe in the Ganga. Bal Gopal Prabhu took us one time and taught us all the prayers and what not to say as one
Mhm.
enters. And then I went back one more time. I would have liked to have gone more than
Mhm.
twice because it is a very magical experience actually bathing in the Ganges. Uh, so yeah, I would have to say those two were definitely uh, nice experiences. But yeah, like I said, it's hard to choose
Right.
highlights, because even going, even just going for a morning program and seeing Panchatattva, Radhamadhava, Astashakis, Nishringadev, uh,
Hmm.
it's such a nice experience
Yeah.
to, just be there in the uh, land of Lord Chaitanya, uh, and, being able to practice devotional service there one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Haribol,
All
Jai.
right, well,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, any other comments on this verse or purport that anybody would like to give?
Prabhu, can you tell us anything about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati?
Yeah. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, uh, also known as the Simha Guru, the lion-like guru, because of his uncompromising preaching to reestablish the proper standard of devotional service. So I guess just brief, historical uh, bearing on the matter. So of course, Lord Chaitanya came to uh, propagate the Yuga Dharma and exhibit his wonderful pastimes. But over the course of time, uh, there had been various deviations introduced into the practice of devotional service, whether it's the smartas, sahajas, or other different groups. Practically, the only people practicing the uh, true method or the true siddhanta of devotional service was Bhaktivinoda Thakur and a few Babajis. Uh, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to have a pure devotee, a ray of Vishnu, born into his family in order to widely propagate the true teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And that ray of Vishnu was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, uh, who, as we know, took initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji and established the Gaudiya Math in order to propagate this process of pure devotional service as taught by Lord Chaitanya. And uh, in addition to establishing the Gaudiya Math, he wrote and spoke very strongly and philosophically against all the various deviations that were present at the time. It was said that actually, if a pundit, if a person who was propagating one of these other schools saw him approaching, uh, on the road or something, they would turn down another road or cross the street or basically hide because they knew he would argue so forcefully that they would be unable to defeat him. Uh, and he, really established the mm, true standard of devotional service. And of course, related to us, he gave Srila Prabhupada the uh, order, uh, the mission to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, particularly in the English language. Which, even that mission, of course, Bhakti had also given some other his sannyasi disciples similar missions, and they tried to in Britain and in Germany, but it didn't really take off. But we can understand that mission that started in the Gaudiya Math was fulfilled, was carried even greater by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, and to spread the teachings of the Vaishnava Acharyas and the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur all over the world. I heard it quoted. I don't have a exact reference, that Prabhupada once said that many of the writings of Bhaktisiddhanta were written only for him to understand. Because if you read some of the works of Bhaktisiddhanta, they can be very difficult to understand because they're written on such a high level, even just using high language. But apparently, at least from according to what I've heard, Prabhupada once said that they were made only for him to understand and to transmit to his disciples and grand disciples and the rest of the generations in the Western world. So, yes, we should, on this auspicious day, pray for the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that we can also propagate Krishna consciousness in an undeviatingly and forceful way, repeating the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, which are non-different than the teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta, which are, of course, non-different than the teachings of Shastra and all the Acharyas. So, I think that's all that I will say about that at the moment. Of course, one could keep on going and talking about any of these personalities.
Thank you,
So,
Guru,
thank you.
and welcome home.
Thank
You
you,
are home.
Prabhu.
You're
Yes.
back. You're back in Gita Nagari.
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome home.
Thank you. Okay. It's about 8 o'clock. So in case, unless anybody has any literally last minute things to say, I think we will end here. All right.
There's lots of things that could be said. I don't know if we
Mhm.
want to take the time at this point. It's 8 o'clock, but we could go on about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati for quite some time, of course.
Yes, of course. But of course, there's also the celebration festival at 10:30 today. I think is at 10:15 is when the uh, Parents' Day festival starts with kirtan. So there will be a class as well. Uh, so we can discuss more about uh, the activities and qualities of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur then. All right.
Hare
Srimad
Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki